Welcome back, my kings. Thank you guys so much for the support. Today we have another interesting conversation. We're going to be discussing, do women really have high sex drives like they say us men do? Or is there something a little bit more deceiving behind when they make that statement? We're going to deep dive in one moment. So I found this. She's a sex therapist, and she does counseling work with couples, and she stated that that statement that women having high sex drive isn't what it really seems on the surface. So no more wasting time. Let's get to the sex therapist and let's see what she has to say about women having a high sex drive.
Ladies, we have to get out of our story that we want sex, we want more sex, that we have the higher sex drive, our husbands don't have a higher sex drive, and we're deprived of sex in our marriages. There are no women married to good men who, after getting married, want to have sex, key piece here, for themselves.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
What? Oh. I get some wives. I guess some husbands need to have some conversations and like, hey, so you only having sex for an ulterior motive? Let's continue.
There is always a hidden agenda. In the beginning of my relationship with Adam, that's my husband, before we were married, because before we get married as women, we enjoy sex. And then
Boy. let's keep going, fellas.
we put our walls up because we got what we wanted and we pushed sex away. You can go watch my video on the switch. I forget the title of it, but if you look through the thumbnails in my videos, you'll see we have a switch in the video.
Don't be looking at me like that, all right? I can feel your look.
We have a switch. You can learn more about that, or why men need sex. I touch on that there as well. But in the beginning of my relationship with Adam, we had sex frequently. I enjoyed sex, but I also used sex as a control mechanism.
Say what?
To where I wanted sex more, and my husband has a high sex drive, and I wanted sex more. And I was wanting to have, not to be too TMI, but I was wanting to have sex like twice a day, but it wasn't for me. It was a control tactic.
I don't know
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that.
Wow, bruh. She was sounding amazing. Most men loves to have sex. It's not a secret. And when you find that woman that appears to like sex just as much as you do, man, that's how we end up with so many toxic relationships, because outside of sex, you really don't have anything in common.
Keep that a secret.
So when you actually find a woman that you're vibing with, and also the sex is also good, and the other parts of your life is good, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and scoop her up. I'm gonna go ahead and marry her, cause this the holy grail. But for her to state that the only reason why she was having so much sex with her husband was because she wanted to use that as a control mechanism, man, that's pretty deep, man. That's pretty heavy. From the surface, I get it, cause kind of one of them deals like, if your woman taking care of you at home, in her mind, she would think there's no reason for you had to go out to get your needs satisfied. But wanting to use it to control, man, that's devious, man. That's some grown woman work right there, man. But let's see what else she have to say.
To have a leash on him, and it came from a paranoia in myself of, I was scared he'd be attracted to another woman, or he wouldn't want to stay with me, or God forbid he masturbate. and it was a control mechanism.
When you say it like that, yeah, it sounds really sad.
Like I stated, yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's kind of one of them deals. When I was younger, my mom really didn't like us. I'll use this as an example. She didn't really like us eating over other people's houses, so she made sure we always ate before we went somewhere, so we didn't embarrass her, acting like we were starving when we went over somebody's house. She's like, well, if you've already ate before we leave, you shouldn't be hungry when you go over whoever house we're going over. So I can see women using this tactic, like, well, if I'm sexing you down here at home, there should be no reason why you should want to have sex outside the home. And for the overwhelming majority of men, married men, yes, we don't want, once we've decided that we're going to be with one woman, yes, you just want to have sex with your wife. Us being attracted to other women, that never leaves. I mean, you can have sex with a man 20 times a day, but him being attracted to other women, that doesn't change. But yes, if what I'm having, if it's already satisfying me, just like the example I gave about not being home because I've already ate before I left the crib, then yeah, I'm good. So I get it. I get a woman wanting to use that as a tactic, even if it is a little...
Try to have a little bit of fun, and you just take it too far every fucking time.
selfish and mischievous, but I get it. I guess I can't say it's selfish because it's self-preservation. Like, hey, if I don't want you going out there smashing another chick, let me make sure that I have you taken care of at home. So let's continue. Let's just continue.
That was my hidden agenda. And for the majority of women who say they have a higher sex drive, the hidden agenda is something linked to control and a control tactic. I want to give an example of one of my students who came through the men's course, and this I've heard this a number of times, where there is often a point as good men go through my men's course that they'll share, like, my wife is sensing something is afoot. Like, she's acting very strange, because what happens for good men through the course is they regain their strength, they regain their confidence, and they begin to stand up for themselves in the face of the emasculation, or they begin to be in a responsible, respectful way as a good man, indifferent to their wives' emasculating behaviors.
Oh, so they go to her because basically they was getting punked. That's kind of weird that you go to a woman to learn how to be a man again. But hey, let's keep the topic main topic, fellas. So they go to her in order to learn how to reinsert their dominance over their woman. And when they take her course, they come home and all that nonsense, that jibber jabber that the women was throwing out, clearly it must not be working anymore, because she have taught them how to regain their masculinity. And they're like, oh, okay, well, now I got to go back to another tactic because me trying to emasculate you isn't working. So clearly they must then turn and use sex as another weapon to try to back control you. Since I can't emasculate you no more, let me just throw sex at you to keep you confused and off your game. And then I guess with using sex, women use that to actually have power in a relationship, which I just don't see how. Like, hey, I'm just having some more sex, cool with me, but the hierarchy isn't going to change. But let's continue, fellas.
And they're no longer on the hook of the emasculation in their marriage. And this is very concerning to women. It's very concerning because the control has flipped, and all of a sudden we feel our hooks are no longer in our husbands. We feel we don't have the control over them anymore that we once did. And that's very uncomfortable to us, because that's...
Why would you want control over men? Isn't that one of the reasons for the feminist movement? Y'all didn't want us to control women, so why now you want to control men?
Damn, you're good.
See, I'm gonna just do a whole nother video, but feminism has never been about equality. As you see, it's always about control. A lot of women want to have control over men, but like, that's not how the hierarchy works.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers!
So it was never about you wanting to please the man. It's all about you want to control the man. Man, women can be devious, bro, but let's Let's keep going, fellas.
It's the whole point of emasculation is to weaken a man so that we are the ones in control. We have all the power, and we strip a good man of his own power and break him down. So as he starts to rebuild himself through the course, it is very often that they will share with, my wife is acting very strange. she's concerned. She's asking me weird questions. And one gentleman shared with me that he said, my wife's acting very strange. She knows something, I'm changing and something's different. And she was a woman who had stopped wanting sex and wasn't.
Hell, shit. That's one of the reasons why he started changing. Like, bruh, don't be giving me sex in the beginning, and then once you get me, now you want to start withholding sex. No, that's not how this works either. If you're gonna have sex with me, have sex with me. Don't be trying to do that bait and switch. Man, we hate that shit. Like, just like a woman, if I'm whining and dining you to get you, and then when we get married, now I never want to go out. And a woman gonna have an issue with you, fellas. So that's why you shouldn't start with their own whining and dining, because you're gonna have to keep going. And it's the same way for women. If you want to sex me down, you want to goddamn, shake it for $1, whatever you want to do, cool, fine. Most men, we all down for it. But guess what? If I decided I'm gonna be with you, oh, it don't stop, boo-boo. Oh, no, I need you. Now it's time to elevate. Because I'm elevated you in my life, so now it's time to elevate that thing. You see what I'm saying? But now all of a sudden, now that you got me, you want to withhold it back? That's why buddy started changing. He's like, no, we ain't finna be doing this, man.
Having sex very often with him, and he said she's initiating sex with me every day. He said, but she's still not engaged, and she's checked out. So, she's not there. I know she's not enjoying it, but she's initiating sex with me.
Oh, no.
Oh, hell no.
No. You're not about to be sitting up here having sex with me like it's a chore. Fellas, don't let a woman sit up here and have sex with you like it's a chore. Like, okay, like washing the dishes or ironing or mopping or vacuuming. It's just another to check off the to-do list. Okay, now it's time for me to have sex with my husband. Nah, boo-boo, you can go ahead and keep that.
Fuck you.
You go ahead and keep that. Like, yeah, I might be getting off on it, but it's gonna get to a point like, man, I'm not gonna be enjoying it either. You just sitting there, you just sitting like a bump on a log, just sitting there, just having me pumping and sweating. You don't want to move. You sitting up there watching TV, or you got there thinking about what you finna do the next day. Nah, boo-boo, just go and keep it. You just go ahead and keep that, because you only doing it because you feel like you're obligated to, not because you want to. And there might be some men out there who won't give a damn and still smash. I don't give a damn that she want or not. But nah, man, I need some interaction, bruh. I need some goddamn give and take. And if you just want to sit up here, and if you only just gonna be doing sex just because you want to do it as a chore, just go and keep it. Trust me, I can find somebody. You can find somebody. You will find a woman out there that'll still want it. Just like a woman can find a man that'll still want it, you can find a woman that'll still want it. So nah, that won't work for me either. And he's sensing that, like, man, you gonna keep that, baby girl.
Every day. And I helped him see that's because she feels her hook's not in you anymore. She's trying to get them back in, and she's scared you might leave, and that she no longer has the control, and you might be strong enough in yourself. If you don't want to stay in the relationship, she's feeling you might leave, so she's trying to get her hooks in you and get you to stay by having sex with you every day.
But that ain't gonna make me stay if you want to do it just because you trying not to make me leave. I want you to have sex with me because you want to have sex with me. Not you just doing it as a chore. Like, after a while, it gonna get boring. Fact. I'm telling you, the older as you get, I don't know, there might be some young kings out there that's watching. The older that you get, telling you, it's gonna take more and more. Cause you done had sex so much, so you're like, bruh, like, so, you gotta keep that thing spicy. And you sitting up here just like a bump on the log, just, like you damn doing a task. Eventually, that shit gonna get old, and it's gonna get boring, and you still gonna want to go out there. So what is it? So in the long run, what is it really accomplishing? Cause he gonna feel that vibe. Like, you still want to have a vibe from your woman, your wife, your girlfriend. You still want to have that vibe, and if you feel like she ain't really into it, eventually she gonna get on your nerves, and you gonna be like, baby girl, just go and keep it, man. I'll handle it.
This is an example of we weaponize sex. We weaponize sex as women by either withholding and depriving a good man of sex, or by having a higher sex drive and constantly wanting sex from them. And it's all a tactic of control. There is always a hidden agenda, and it is almost always linked to some control tactic to keep our husbands on a leash and to own them.
To keep us on a leash and to own us.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now, damn, like, how simple-minded you think we are? Like, yes, we enjoy sex. Come on, yeah, we do. But you think that's all that's going to take for you to keep me on the leash? And I'm going to need some other stuff too now. Like, yes, the sex is real high, but I still need you to be pleasant to be around. I want to have to be around you. You still, we have kids. I want you to be a good mother. I want you to be a good companion. Like, hey, I need you to do domestic things around the house. If we go out, I want us to be able to still have fun. So yeah, sex is important. I don't get it twisted. That is important. But to think that's, I guess, well, for some guys, yeah, that's all it takes. But for kings, like, man, it's gonna take more than that. Like, yeah, I want you to bust it wide open. Like, don't get it twisted. Yes, we do want that. But if you think that's all that it's going to take in order to keep a good man, a good king happy, man, they sadly mistaken on that too.
Sensational.
That's wild, man. That's wow. Let's keep going.
That's why as women, we have to get out of our stories that we have the higher sex drive. And this, again, my message are for women married to good men and for good men married to women who have the common, normal, everyday issues behind closed doors that you would expect your neighbors to have. That's the context we're talking about this in. That, ladies, we have to get out of our stories. We have the higher sex drive and we want more sex. No, it is a control tactic. We're not wanting to have a lot of sex for ourselves purely because we enjoy it. We have a hidden agenda. So if you are one of these women, you want to get honest with yourself, not making yourself bad and wrong, but get honest with yourself, because you have to see yourself as the problem. You are the only solution. That's empowering. That allows you to live in camp, take responsibility, and get out of camp victim, blaming your husband. You want to look in the mirror in a constructive, reflective way of what's my hidden agenda?
Now, how you gonna blame me because I want sex? You tell me you want sex. You sex me down before we get married, and then when we get married, now all of a sudden it's a problem because I still want to have sex.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
Because according to my vows, it ain't like I can go out here and have sex with another woman. So you got to fulfill that need for me anytime that I need that need fulfilled, because that's what you said you wanted the job. You said you wanted that title. You said you wanted to be the only woman in my life. Okay, cool. So if you want to be the only woman in my life, that means when it comes to that sex, that means that you got to be ready, girl. You got to be ready when I'm ready. Because again, if I'm not going to be going out here, if married men are not going to be going out here and getting sex with other women, that means that their wife has to be on it. And so don't lie and say that you got a high sex drive, but you really was only using that as a control. And then once you finally get married, now you feel like you ain't got to do it anymore. Man, that's some dirty work, man. And then you want to blame me. I'm the same. The husband the same. I like the sex before you, during you, and if it's after you, I'm still gonna want it. A man is still going to want sex.
My nigga.
What's my hidden agenda that I want to have sex more than my husband, or I'm constantly at him for sex and making him wrong, that he doesn't want sex as much as me, or that he's stopped wanting sex? It's probably in a spectrum.
Whoa, fellas. So that was a really interesting conversation. So according to her, women saying they have a high sex drive is purely as a mechanism to control men, to keep their hooks in you, to keep their control over you, so hopefully you don't go out. What women don't understand, men, now let's take out the extremes for women, because of course we know we got some hoes. We know some hoes out there. Yeah, they probably can actually be on that tilt like men, but we talking about just your normal woman. The vast majority of women do really only want to have sex with one guy. Men, we can literally wake up and say, hey, I can have sex with a different woman every day and it would not bother us now one bit.
He ain't lying.
Trust us, ladies, when we tell you. But we understand when you're in a relationship and when you're married, like, man, that just ain't cool. You just don't want to do that. So cool. I'm vibing with you. You're my wife. You're my girlfriend. I said, hey, I want to be with you. And you threw it out there like, hey, you was loving sex just as much as me. So, okay, so that's when we went ahead and took it to the next level, only to turn out that you was only doing it because you didn't want me to go with another woman. That ain't cool, man. That ain't cool. And men, we sense that. We sense that. And if you only going to be doing it just because you want to feel like it's a chore, then we going to be like, I don't want it either. That's some wild, man. That's wild that women out here saying they got these high sex drive, and it's all cap, fellas. So be careful out here, my kings. So y'all tell me what you think. Ladies, if I have any queens out there, is she truthful about this? Do you guys only want to have sex just as a control mechanism for your husbands and for your boyfriend? And fellas, what y'all think about the women that do that old bait and switch? They sex you down in the beginning, and then once they get you, then they want to peel back, or they start having back sex with you again when they feel like that you're losing interest, but they only doing it because they trying to keep you, but not because they want it. Would you still want to have sex, or or you'll tell her to go on by her business, or it really ain't gonna matter to you? Just go ahead and drop your thoughts in your comments. And again, as always, kings need thrones. Until next time, peace.